The physical world brings things into being through unseen motions of which we can scarcely explain. The inner world is not separate from this process, but it moves in contingency with it. Photography can be thought of as a process of induction, where one strips away what isn't necessary to arrive at a desirable result. But at its core, photography produces evidence without consent from reality. It is seized, captured, and frozen. The very act of taking a photograph rips reality from its state of flux and imprisons it in a moment of stasis, one whose sentence is immutable. I find this to be a fate worse than the one that occurs naturally from our flawed and forgetful memory. Human memory is alive and it changes as we change. It continually participates in the present moment and is perpetually shaped by it. It may decay, but decay is itself a form of integration, one that photography refuses to participate in. A photograph does not age with the self, it remains alien to the present moment. In this sense, photography externalizes memory into a form that does not belong to the organism that created it. Photo is less a memory than a counter memory. In a world where every second can be captured and stored, we have created a realm where time no longer moves. Moments persist without aging and can be recalled to the mind on demand. Surely this distorts our relationship with time. We are able to re-enter stored moments and experience them as if they were present. Memory begins to feel less real if it lacks an accompanying image. How can you be sure what you ate last week if you don't have a photo of it? To capture a meaningful image, you must consciously choose what to omit from the frame. Before the shutters press, there are infinite angles, framings, and interpretations, and afterwards all but one are discarded. What remains is what happened, what you thought mattered, and what will be remembered. Photography is like chiseling a statue. You remove the excess until the form reveals itself. But here, the medium is not marble, it is the ether, and the chisel is your attention under constraint. Two people standing in the same place with the same camera will not take the same photograph because they are willing to exclude different realities. By choosing one version to survive, all the others are allowed to disappear. The invention of written language allowed thought to be distributed across time, and in doing so, it was abstracted from the thinker. Photography does the opposite. It concretizes rather than it abstracts. Writing gave rise to poetry, just as capturing light gave rise to photography. But the key difference is this: photography always begins as a fact. For a photograph to become art, it must transcend its own evidentiary nature. This does not happen through better equipment or more precise settings. It is not achieved by chasing the best lighting or climbing the tallest mountain. It only happens through reorientation of the self. In my opinion, there are two main forms of photography. One is taken with the intention of extracting from the world to impress, to shock, and to accumulate reactions. The other one participates in the dialogue of the world, whether it be staged or spontaneous. The first is easily explained. When taking a photograph, the mind utilizes external validation as its primary motivator. The second one enters into a dance with the world and its complex motions. We can refer to these as extractive and participatory. Extractive photography resembles a lottery that you buy into with the most valuable currency of all, your time. Most of the time, you walk away with nothing. Occasionally, you might win a little. And every once in a while, when fate allows, the stars align and a photograph materializes that truly pleases you. It will feel almost effortless in hindsight, though you will worship it as if it required great labor. It will be elevated and held apart from all the rest. You will call it your own. You will cherish it. I find this to be problematic. To me, the photographer is merely a vessel, left to the mercy of the ever-changing whirligig of time. I find it better to participate in this shared motion than to extract from it. We construct systems that claim to guide us towards what is right, yet they themselves are built on faulty foundations. The rule of thirds is taught to every beginner. You learn every setting that your camera offers. You even grow confident and proud of your technical fluency. You can speak endlessly about optimal f-stops or the sharpness of the corners produced by your newest lens. None of this matters. It is hot air. It is like worrying about which kind of shoe you're wearing while dancing with a partner. The dance is not about the shoe. It's always about the connection. It's about the brief crossing of two bodies in motion, momentarily obscuring one another, only to reveal something exceptional. When the moment is missed, it can never be retrieved in its entirety. The dance will never feel the same as it did that one night, just as the world's unseen motions quietly move on, never aligning themselves in quite the same way again. Remember, it takes two to tango. By focusing on the lesser details, we remain ignorant of a greater truth. We remain inside the cave, gazing at the shadows as they dance across the wall in front of us. We think they are significant and great value is placed on these metrics, but they are merely cast by unseen hands behind the very wall that we are chained to. The mechanisms that produce them remain entirely hidden. You find yourself transfixed on the composition of a photo rather than the meaning behind it. The colors that slip through are tuned to please the eye. They are vivid and agreeable, yet they leave your heart untouched. These shadows are shaped and refined until they conform to what is known to be pleasing to the masses. Some people learn the sequence of them so well that they can begin to predict which one comes next. They memorize the system, and in doing so, mistake fluency for understanding. The shadows become familiar, comforting, and impressive to them. They claim mastery, but it's only of the projection. Our craft has become subverted to allow for the industry to grow. New tools are introduced, new rules are taught, new standards are set. We have better gear, higher quality images, sharper corners. The database expands endlessly, and with it, images are technically proficient, yet hollow. At what point does this end? If we are constantly chasing higher quality and better equipment, is the goal really a recreation of reality? What becomes of memory when it no longer lives in us? And what becomes of us when we no longer need to remember?